What is a profession? In simpler terms, it is an occupation done upon specialized educational training. You may have heard someone saying career. Career is another word for profession. It has been said profession is neither a trade nor an industry. Medieval and early modern traditions mainly recognize only three professions, which were divinity, medicine, and law, and were so called learned professions. Even today, we see the professions like medicine and law being practiced all around the world. There are some major milestones which mark an occupation being identified as a profession. Some of them are: an occupation becomes a full-time occupation, the establishment of a university school, the establishment of a local association. The crafts of India are diverse, rich in history, culture, and religion. The crafts of each state in India reflects the different empires. Throughout centuries, crafts have been embedded as a culture and tradition within rural communities. Some of the various crafts in India include pottery, handlooms, metal craft, and batik work. Craft is an activity involving skill in making things by hand. The reason behind a beautiful piece of art is the skill of the artist. Artist is a person who practices a particular profession and excels in it. India has given rise to many artists since the medieval times. Some of the noted artists were Rabindranath Tagore, Raja Ravi Verma, Nandalal Bose, and many others. Patience plays a huge role in learning the technique of every art, as some arts and crafts may take more than a decade to perfect and execute.
ये गलियां प्रीत की डोरी यहाँ दिल से बंधा हर कोई बाहें फैलाती दिशाएं तेरे शहर में हाँ बड़ी मस्त चले हैं हवाएं तेरे शहर में।
Pottery. The term pottery is the process of making utensils and other objects with clay and ceramic materials. Archaeological evidences prove that pottery is one of the oldest inventions of mankind, dating back to prehistoric times. The discovery of Grecian culture figurine in Czech Republic, dating back to 29,000 to 25,000 BC, establishes the pre-Neolithic period origin of pottery. The Indus Valley civilization potters employed advanced techniques and made glazed pottery. North India is known for various kinds of pottery designs, ranging from colors like orange, brown, and light red in Uttar Pradesh to black and dark red in Himachal Pradesh. Bikaner's painted pottery and Pokhran's geometrical patterns, Alwar's Kagzi pottery, and blue pottery of Jaipur are very famous. Pottery is made by forming a clay into objects of desired shape and heating them to high temperature to make them strong and rigid. On the basis of temperature at which they are heated, pottery is of three types: earthenware, heated at 600 degrees Celsius; stoneware, heated at 1100 to 1200 degrees Celsius; and porcelain, heated at 1200 to 1400 degrees Celsius. Each of these can be made in glazed and unglazed varieties. Various steps are involved in the making of pottery. Kneading helps to ensure even moisture content. De-airing is the process of removing air trapped in the clay body. It is manually done by wedging or by vacuum pump. The clay is now shaped by various techniques and is dried and generally later fired. Based on moisture content and firing, the clay objects are classified as follows. Greenware are unfired objects. They are soft and malleable and can be deformed easily. Leather hard are partially dried objects. At this stage, the clay bodies are very firm and only slightly flexible. Trimming and handle attachments are done at this stage. Bone dry are clay bodies with zero moisture and ready to be fired. Biscuit or bisque refers to clay objects that have been shaped and fired in the kiln. Glaze fired. The bisque is decorated and a glaze material is applied and then fired. The glaze melts, giving the object a shiny appearance. The chief health risks faced by a worker are as follows. Lead poisoning, also called plumbism, is a major concern associated with glazed pottery. Other risks are exposure to fine particulate matter, carbon monoxide and crystalline silica, which can lead to silicosis. Environmental concerns include water and air pollution, disposal of hazardous materials and fuel consumption. Pottery is one of the most relaxing and mindful activity that can calm nerves and act as an excellent stress buster. Hence, it is a popular hobby today.
Batik work. Batik work originated around the 8th century and was the ancient tradition of the aristocratic women of Indonesia and Java. It is also widely found in India, China, Egypt, and Japan. Though silk is majorly used for this art, paper, wool, and cotton can also be used. Batik designs mostly depict nature, animals, and religious symbols such as the Garuda bird, the dragon, and the sacred lotus. Red, brown, mustard, and white dyes hold great importance, as these colors are commonly found on batik clothes. To prepare batik, selected areas of the cloth are blocked out using hot wax. Then the cloth is dyed and the wax is scraped off. The parts covered in wax retain their original color. Finally, the cloth is ready for use. There are various tools for making batik. Canting, a little copper pot with a spout, is used for pouring wax. Special dyes and printing blocks are also essential. Batik has innumerable forms and is still popular. Sometimes the wax cracks and the dye enters these areas, thus producing a crackle effect typical to batiks. At present, the art of batik is declining. One major reason for this is its competition with cheap and synthetic fabrics. It also requires a lot of manual laborers. It is very expensive and so not many people prefer to buy them. Therefore, we must promote this special art and not let it die out.
Embroidery. Embroidery is the art of decorating fabric or other materials using a needle to apply thread or yarn, which may include pearls, beads, quills, and sequins. The commonly used stitches are chain stitch, cross stitch, buttonhole stitch, running stitch, and satin stitch. Let us know about the history of embroidery. The word embroidery has been derived from a French word broder, meaning embellishment. It is believed that it has been originated in China and the Near East. Let us look at some pictures of embroidery practiced around the world. Let us know about the types of embroideries practiced in India. The first one is the Ari embroidery. Ari embroidery involves a hook piled from the top but fed by a silk thread below with the frame. This movement leads to the lines of chain stitches. The fabric is stretched on a frame and stitching is done with a long needle ending with a hook. The Bani or Heer Bharat embroidery. The Bani or Heer Bharat embroidery originates from Gujarat and is mainly practiced by the Lohana community. It is famous for its vibrancy and richness in color palettes, which includes the shisha or mirror work. The chicken embroidery. The chicken embroidery is believed to be introduced by Noor Jahan, the wife of Shah Jahan. It involves at least 40 types of stitching styles, of which about 30 are still practiced today. The Naksha or Kanta embroidery. The Naksha or Kanta embroidery is done on many layers of cloth with running stitch. It was started as a method of making quilts, but the same type of embroidery can also be found on saris, salwar suits, stoles, napkins, etc. Due to the changing trends, the embroidery is being done by machines, which has led to the loss of livelihood of many people dependent on embroidery as their major source of income.
Bamboo weaving. Bamboo weaving was one of the famous art which was prevailing in the ancient India before the colonial period of the British. Making things with bamboo require a high amount of skill, practice, and gives a huge profit in those days. Abilities required to carry out basic weaving operations: shedding, picking, battening to weave bamboo mats comprising of basic weaves, plain and twill on hand-operated loom. Decline of bamboo weaving. Nowadays, people don't consider bamboo weaving as a good profession. They think it is not a decent job. And also, bamboo weaving requires skill to choose proper bamboo, know basic weaving pattern, and also physical strength to weave the bamboo into required bamboo craft. Sometimes, even the climate affects bamboo weaving. Animals like elephants and monkey destroy the bamboo fields, resulting in 0% bamboo harvest. This decline is also caused by the colonial rule, as the British discouraged and destroyed not only bamboo weaving but many other indigenous arts which was famous in the ancient India. Ways to revive bamboo weaving. This can be revived by the governmental action towards arts and tradition by encouraging these arts and investing in it. Bamboo products have many environmental advantages and can be made as an alternate for non-biodegradable things like plastic and many other things. This can also be done with the whole support of people so that not only art would sustain but the culture would be more richer than now. So let us hope that we could save this art for the future.
Jute products. Jute is the cheapest and eco-friendly fiber in ancient period. Asian and African people started using these jutes. People with poor economic status preferred jute as their outfits. Jute is also known as gold fiber and it has been sprouted out in West Bengal and also extends all over the eastern region of our country. In our India, there is a large cultivation of jute in almost 83 districts of states like Assam, Bihar, Orissa, etc. Bengal, the soil of Ganga and Brahmaputra is suitable for the growth of jute crops. There is a humid climate and has a rainfall up to 200 cm, which is essential for the growth of crops. Hence, several industries are located here. We have many types of jute. They are burlap or resin, sacking, twine yarns and ropes, and many fabrics are also available. They are white jute, tassa jute, mesta jute and jute cuttings. Jute is a natural fiber with golden and silky shine, hence called golden fiber. Jute has larger benefits like they are very cheapest fiber, eco-friendly and biodegradable. It has high tensile strength. It is obtained as a natural source from a naturally jute plant. Bangladesh is the large exporter of jute. About 75% of jute in India are used as sacking, carpets and packing materials. And we also export things like dress, twines, shoes, ropes, paddings, etc. Jute is a rainy season crop. It is very easy to grow in India because of its warm climate and temperature. It requires temperature more than 25 degrees Celsius. The sowing starts by March and it is harvested by September. The plant grows up to 8 to 12 feet. Standard construction classification of jute: essene cloth, sacking cloth, jute and twine, tarpaulin, canvas, bags, hydrocarbon and free jute cloth, geotextile. Jute has great woven story. For the hardest reality in this era, jute works has lost its fame and shine when this nasty plastic entered into the society. By 2019, it was a great evolution where plastics are banned and jute was at higher rate, where almost 2 million bags are in rotation now. So it has reduced the demand for jute bags and also decreased demand for the jute owing to the government of India, where jute mills often fall in for the supply of jute bags and there is also a very less supply for the labor source. So therefore we must promote this art and not let to perish it out.
Handlooms. What is a handloom? Globally, the handloom was devised about 2000 years ago and was brought to England by the Romans. The process consisted of interlacing one set of threads of yarn, the warp, with another, the weft. The warp threads are stretched lengthwise in the weaving loom. The weft, the cross threads are woven into the warp to make the cloth. In India, according to the popular beliefs and circumstances, it might have started in the 8th century when the Chalukya dynasty was in full swing in this region. Handloom is basically a wooden frame that is used to weave fabric. There are different types of handlooms, from a rudimentary one used by the tribal families to a more sophisticated one which can weave multicolored dresses, and there are different styles of weaving in it. There are pit looms, looms fixed at the top of a pit and looms above the ground. Looms for saris and silk weaving are sophisticated than the cotton weaving looms. They require skill. Dhotis, lungis and towel weaving looms are easier to operate. Looms for bedsheets and daris are a little different. They require strength and are mostly operated by the young or middle-aged men. Bedsheet looms are wider. Skills required for operating a handloom. Our weavers and their skills will weave India's new story of culture and tradition for handloom in the country. Training is provided for skill development to weavers in weaving, dyeing, designing, managerial and information technology under the block level cluster of the National Handloom Development Program. The weavers are taught the following things: weaving with a jacquard, weaving with a jala and robi, weaving with tie and dye, and dyeing. Why are the handlooms perishing? In our fast-paced modern life, people demand merchandise which are easily available, ready in no time and are cheap, all at the cost of losing the human touch to the clothes. Another one of the reasons has been the limited amount of information in the public domain about the effects of the machine-made products on the human body and on the environment. The lack of orders, the rise in consumption of foreign materials has also led to the decline of handlooms. The handloom weavers have also not been able to keep up with the present public demands, and many other factors along with these host factors have brought the handloom sector to its knees. No two pieces are the same. The imperfection of the human touch is what makes it unique. The lack of efficient government policies is also one of the major reasons leading to the following consequences: rising input costs, credit problem, lack of modernization, migration to other fields, poor infrastructure, inadequate research and development, and lack of reliable data.
Baker. Who is a baker? A baker is a tradesperson who bakes bread and other products made of flour by using an oven or any other heat source. Let's know about the baker's profession, baking. It is a method of preparing food using dry heat, normally an oven, but can also be done using hot coals or hot ashes. The most commonly baked product is bread, but these days many food items can be baked. Let us know the history of baking. The earliest process of grains probably involved parching of collected grains or seeds. Later, it was improved by cooking whole or broken grains with water, forming gruel. It was a short step in the baking of layer of viscous gruel on a hot stone, producing primitive flatbreads. These days, there are variety of flatbreads like Mexican tortilla made of processed corn and chapati of India usually made of wheat. Now we will know about the baking in India. Baking in India started in the year 1880. Most famous place for bread in India is Goa. In Goa, breads are locally called pav. Now there is a lot of change in baking from the ancient time till now. During the ancient time, people used todi for the dough or batter to raise. The most baked product was bread during those days. The making of bread or any other product was a very slow process. But these days, people use chemically formulated yeast, and there is a lot of varieties in bread itself. And it takes a very less time to make bread. There are a lot of baked products these days. Let's have a look at the pictures of these products. Types of breads, muffins, cookies, pastries, tarts, pies, crackers, pizzas, cakes, and many more come under this.
Rug weaving. Rug weaving is an ancient art and craft that had been perfected by many cultures, including the Turkish. One style of woven rug is called flat weave or a kilim. Flat weave rugs dated to 4th century are created by weaving the wefts and wraps together to create a seamless pattern.
Rug weaving as an art began in Persia approximately 2500 years ago. They were originally woven by nomadic tribes as protection from the cold and wet environment. Eventually, they began to develop into traditional patterns and became a work of art that was also utilitarian. The oldest hub of rug weaving in India is Mirzapur in Uttar Pradesh. The genesis of rug weaving can be traced to Mughal Emperor Akbar in 16th century. There are 7 types of handmade rugs which are produced in India. 1. Hand-knotted woolen carpets. 2. Tufted woolen carpets. 3. Gap woolen carpets. 4. Handmade woolen haris. 5. Pure silk carpets. 6. Staple or synthetic carpets. 7. Chain stitch rugs. India is exporting its produced handmade rugs to more than 70 nations across the world. The major countries include US, UK, Canada, Germany, Australia, and even China. India is now a world leader in exports and ranked number 1 producer of handmade rugs both in terms of value as well as volume.
Carpentry. Carpentry is the art of combining pieces of wood to make a useful structure. These structures can be made for domestic or industrial purposes. Carpentry in India. The northern states of India have a rich tradition of the woodwork. Regions in Punjab are famous for its exquisite wooden furniture. Kashmir is famous for its artifacts made from the walnut trees. The artisans of Chhattisgarh specialize in wooden crafts like masks, doors, wooden frames and sculptures. History of carpentry. Wood is one of mankind's oldest building materials. The ability to shape wood improved with technological advances from the Stone Age to the Bronze Age to the Iron Age. Some of the oldest archaeological evidence of carpentry are water well casings. These include an oak and hazel structure dating from 50 to 56 BC found in Ostrava, Czech Republic. The traditional tools of carpentry are rasps, saws, chisel, clamps, planes, twist drills, screw wrenches, etc. These tools are used to make products of domestic usage such as doors and interior design for homes. The usage of traditional tools declined with the coming of modern tools. Modern tools like CNC, bandsaw, double-side planer, drill press, etc. are used for making industrial products like wood carving. The image to your left is Mephistopheles and Margareta, which can be seen in Salajang Museum, Hyderabad. This is one of a well-known carpentry or sculpture work. This piece of art was made with a single log of sycamore wood. And this is called Ther in Tamil. It is used for the procession of idols. This structure is made completely with wood. After fixing, it is decorated with fancy materials. This is a popular carpentry work in Tamil Nadu.
Since the rise of technology, many arts and crafts are declining and machines are replacing them. We must take a stand and protect them as they are the integral heritage of India. We must take constructive measures like spreading awareness of crafts, conducting workshops, value the quality over the price tag, initiate collaborations between artisans and designers, increase interaction with consumers. To restore the value and heritage of these arts and crafts, let's join hands to keep them alive. Jai Hind.
मिट्टी है बोली की तेरी